Getting your puppy used to handling is incredibly important. If you can handle your dog anywhere, then it will help you when it comes to grooming them, it will help you look after them, and it really helps me and my fellow vets when it comes to bringing your dog into the vet clinic for an examination. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to get your puppy used to being handled. Hi, I'm Dr. Alex from ourpetshealth.com, helping you and your dog to live a healthier, happier life. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Now in this video, I've invited Ken and Kale, who are two dog training experts, to come and talk to you about how to get your puppy, how to get your dog used to handling. It's such an important thing. It can be incredibly frustrating for me when I have a patient come and they're just really fighting me. They're really scared. They won't let me maybe check in their ears. They won't let me look in their mouth. And it can really sometimes, in serious cases, compromise the quality of care that we're able to provide our pets. Sure, we can always sedate them, we can give them something to try and reduce that anxiety, and there are different practices that we can take as vets to actually reduce their fear and their anxiety in the first place. But getting your puppy used to being handled is incredibly important. If you teach this from a really early age, then that's something that should generally persist with them throughout their life. So let's get started, and I'll hand over to Ken and Kale.
A big thank you to Dr. Alex and everyone at Our Pets Health for inviting us to hang out with you guys today. Now, my name's Ken Steep, and I'm from a YouTube channel called McCann Dogs, where every single week we publish a new video to help you spend some quality time with your four-legged family member. At our training facility, McCann Professional Dog Trainers, we've helped over 80,000 dogs to be good family members since 1982. And in that time, we've collected a lot of data about learning styles, about puppy tendencies, about training techniques and procedures, but we've also collected a lot of information about what skills puppies and dogs need the most. In a minute, I'm going to introduce you to somebody who knows a little bit about dog training. It's 21-time world champion of dog agility, Kale McCann. It's often overlooked. People don't really recognize the importance of it, but in just a moment, Kale's going to talk to us about how to make your puppy comfortable with handling, whether it's to be scooped up in an emergent scenario or whether they're going for an assessment at the veterinarian.
Now, what I'm going to do is start off with the very first step to some of this handling. And when I want to touch different parts of her body, the first thing I want to make sure is that she's in a completely relaxed position and maybe not where she's trying to do tricks right now. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of food. I'm just going to lure her into a down position, and I want her to be rotated onto one hip. So all I did there, I'll show you that again, is I just moved her head towards her shoulder, and that causes her to flip over onto one side. I'm just going to give her all the food in my hands, because once the food's out of my hands, I'm going to allow her to be a little calmer. Now, I like that there's a blanket under here because I can pull her around a little easier. Now, what I'm going to do is brace her outside leg, and I'm going to just gently push on her shoulders to get her on her side. Good girl. Once she's on her side, monkey moo, I'm just going to pat her very calmly. Good girl. On your side. Yes, and I actually teach an on your side command. On your side. Good girl. Shh. Good girl. And I want her to lay here completely calmly until I release her. Good girl. On your side. Good girl. Now, for some dogs, you certainly could incorporate a lot of feeding, but this particular puppy is very, very food motivated, and the more that I use food, the more frantic behavior I get because she likes it so much. So she actually responds a lot better to just really calm praise and calm petting and touching. Good girl. On your side. Good girl. Very nice. Once she's relaxed and I can tell her, okay, good girl, and let her get up from there. So that's step one. That's what I would start off before you do any touching of the body parts. Good girl. Yes. Now, once your dog is very comfortable laying on their side, they're relaxed and they're calm, lie down on your side. Good girl. The next thing I would do is start to touch different body parts. Now, I have a bag of cheese hidden behind my leg right now. It's out of sight, so it's not super distracting. And if B is able to lay here calmly as I touch her paws, I'm going to say yes and then reward her. Now, the timing of this is very important. I need her to believe that the best part of this, I love bug, the best part of this is when I actually touch her paw. It's important that I use the word yes to pinpoint that before I get my food out. So I'm going to get her back on her side here. On your side. Good girl. Settle. Good. On your side. So I'm going to take a hold of her paw. Good. On your side. Oh, you're so good. Yes. So I'm going to say yes while I hold her paw, And then I'm gonna get my cheese out to reward her. Good girl, good, yes, very nice, good. What I wouldn't wanna do is hold the paw, let go, yes, and get the food out, because I want her to think the best part so that I'm actually touching her body part. So timing is really important in dog training. They learn within 1 second, so it's very important when you use your pinpoint word, it's at the right time. So I'm gonna try the other paw now. Good girl. I might even make it a little harder, spread her toes apart, pull on each individual nail. That's something that I would have to do. Oops, settle. So she's a little bit uncomfortable with that. So I'm just gonna lay her down again, settle, good girl. Yes, so she was completely calm that time. You are so smart, good girl. Try your back feet. Good girl. Oh, she's a good baby. Yes, good girl. So yes, while I'm touching, and then reward. I got one more paw to do. Good girl, lie down. Atta girl, settle. There, oh, that's good, B. Yes, good girl. This is a really easy thing to practice, you know, between commercials or between shows while you're watching commercials rather. It's also good to practice this while your dog is already a little bit tired in the beginning so that they're more likely to settle. And then as they get more experienced with it, you can also practice when they're more excited. You know, unfortunately, you can't always choose the energy level of your dog when you take them to the vet for an appointment. They need to be able to be comfortable with this type of handling any time of the day and in any situation. You are ridiculous. Good girl. Now, it's not always convenient to have your dog laying on their side to do handling. There's going to be times where you need to look in their eyes, check their ears, look in their teeth. And for that, I usually prefer to have my dog sitting. So again, I'm going to get rid of the food for a second, and I'm just going to have my hand in her collar just to brace her a little bit. What I also like to do, I'm just going to swing her this way so you can see, is brace my hand underneath her chin to help keep her head still. And again, if your dog's not very used to you holding them in this position, I would take the time to pat and praise calmly. Yes, good girl. Yes, and you could even just certainly start off by rewarding that. Now, I have done this with this puppy since the day I brought her home at 8 weeks old. So she's quite comfortable with this, but some puppies take a little longer. So you can see she just sort of settles when I hold her there, which means I can look in her eyeballs really easily. I can look in her ears really easily, make sure there's no you know, dirt or grime in there. Also too, this is going to sound really strange, but one of the easiest ways to tell whether your dog has an ear infection, hi babe, is by smelling their ear. If they have a funky smell coming from there, they might have an ear infection. So can she be still as I get without kissing me? Yes, get my nose near her ear to smell it. Good girl, yes, you're so good. And again, I take my time doing this. It's a good idea to practice handling when you don't actually have to check them from something. You know, I have some time to do this, I can take it slow. Now, last but not least, their mouth. This is one of the hardest things. So when I start to work on being able to look inside their mouth, I start off by just simply being able to lift her teeth. Look at those pearly whites. Yes, good girl. If she allows me to lift her lips to see her teeth, I would reward that. Then I could practice maybe trying to open her mouth for a moment. So I have my fingers braced behind her teeth. I'm just gonna open her bottom jaw there. So she wasn't quite leveling that, so I'm gonna try it again. Good girl. Yes, good. So see how I just had her do it for just a moment? What I'm looking for is acceptance. I'm looking for her to be still, to be calm. If she's fighting me and trying to pull her head out of my way, I don't want to be yesing and rewarding that. So I'm going to hold her head again. Try one more time. Yes, good girl. Excellent, very nice. And I can just do little bits at a time. When you're doing handling, you can, choose to do, one body part and do that for a little bit. And then maybe the next day do something different. Depending on the comfort level of your dog, it's always best to build on success so that your dog doesn't get worried or stressed during this and they actually find it a pretty nice, relaxing, calm time with you. Being able to handle your dog in order to check their ears or their eyes, clip their toenails is obviously very important and something that you'll need to use every single day. But unfortunately, there could be a time in your dog's life where you need to be able to handle them in order to save their life or to get them out of an emergency situation. I know I've had a couple of those myself. I've had a dog get a fish hook caught in her leg while I was swimming her at a conservation area one time, and she had to lie perfectly still so that I could get it out very strategically so so that I didn't injure her any further, and she laid perfectly quiet and allowed me to do that, which I was so grateful for. I also had another dog that had Addison's disease, and I had to give her medication every single day for years by mouth. And so if that was a stressful thing for her or for that could have been a really, hard thing for me to be able to do every single day with her.
Well, I hope this video is giving you some training ideas for your new puppy. It's such a fun time when you bring a puppy home and you get to work with them, but investing that time and effort is invaluable at this point in their learning. These are the kinds of skills that will last them a lifetime. A big thank you to Dr. Alex and everyone at Our Pets Health for inviting us to come and hang out with you guys on the channel. And on that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.
Right, so big thanks to Ken and Kale today for coming and talking to us about how to get your puppy used to handling. If you'd like to know more about training your dog, then really make sure you check out their YouTube channel, McCann Dogs, which I'll link down in the description. They just have a wealth of information and a huge number of videos all about training your dog while having great fun at the same time, which is what it's all about. So getting your puppy used to handling is just one aspect, but it is really important. Remember to subscribe to my channel, Our Pets Health, if you're interested in helping your dog to live a healthier, happier life. I release new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. If you've got any questions, then please just leave them down below. And until next time, I'm Dr. Alex from Our Pets Health, because they're family.